Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan, and a short video today as I am still sorting out the last bits of the review, but something has popped up a few days ago and some people are very curious. A new build has appeared, a new depot known as Jericho. This is for Total War Warhammer 3. Now what can this mean? Well, it's very certain that this most likely is the next DLC, 6.0 and whatever is next. I know a lot of people seem to think that this might be the patch, you know, the actual launch patch, but this only started appearing fairly recently with loads of attention, so this isn't that, as I'm very much certain the bunny is linked up to the current patch 5.0 build. We already know that Creative Assembly are moving on to the next DLC with the other team. There are 2 DLC teams so far, until further notice with the current round of layoffs, so it makes sense that the team that was working on Shadows of Change is now working on whatever is next. It's also fairly well known that Creative Assembly are working on stuff there in advance, where it's not just the next DLC which is planned out, but multiple projects too. We just have to wait and see what happens with the next month or so, as that is tied to the layoffs and also the potential sales of Thrones of Decay, which will kinda see what happens with the game. We also know that 6.0 is changing up the map. There's going to be some additions, and that means that, yeah, the work needs to start sooner rather than later, because they'll have to test that, make sure everything works, and if my theory is correct, they're going to have to check out a lot of pathfinding on the campaign map. This is because my theory is the next DLC will be the Monkey King. They did start hinting at the Monkey King during the Shadows of Change, where they said that they weren't monkeying around. It seems way too close for home. The fact is that the Monkey King is something that we would be expecting, and it's something that also Games Workshop would heavily promote. There are loads of rumors for Warhammer the Old World that we will see Grand Cafe starting to be revealed at some point this year or early next, so it's time to start laying the groundwork for a potential full army book. The cross-promotion works very well, as Games Workshop do tend to oddly share a lot more when it comes to Grand Cafe for Warhammer 3 than it does for anything else. I've been pretty on the ball lately with both CA and Games Workshop predictions, so I do think that this is something that we're going to be seeing very soon. I don't know what I think about the idea of another cafe DLC coming in so soon, but if it is the theorized kind of mini race pack with loads of monkey warriors and tiger men and so on, then that could be fairly interesting. The main thing we have to talk about here is just because Jericho has started popping up doesn't mean that we're going to be hearing about it anytime soon. If we're going to hear about any new DLC, I imagine it will be at least 4 months if they start ramping up development, because that was the original plan, but obviously everything has not been going to plan, with DLCs being 8 months apart, and yeah, it's not been great. Don't worry, because I said 4 months. It could come sooner, but I very much doubt it. But it's likely we should expect patches in between as always, and some hot fixes. And I imagine before we hear anything else about Total War Warhammer 3, we should probably expect some news for Pharaoh. It's been a while, they've been very quiet. I know people aren't interested in Pharaoh, I'll be honest with you, neither am I. But yeah, there have been some rumors that the next Pharaoh update is very close. We could potentially see the Warhammer 3 roadmap before that, but I imagine that we'll see the update for Pharaoh first, and then the roadmap afterwards, purely because we and Creative Assembly likely know that there's very little interest in Pharaoh, so unless it's a absolutely massive update, they're going to need something to throw out to the community straight after, so they can get people's interest back up. Not trying to be mean about Pharaoh, but let's be honest, unless it's something very big, and no, just fusing the Pharaoh map with the Troy map isn't going to work, as, you know, since Pharaoh's been out, that was data mined day 1. Something like a really big mythology DLC for Egypt, and have like a proper Age of Mythology Total War. There have been rumors that the map is going to be expanded into Mesopotamia also, but even then, again, everyone's fighting with chariots, everyone's fighting on foot. That's a little bit boring. I mean, maybe to me, but yeah. Anyways, I do feel quite hopeful that things are going to be speeding up for Warhammer 3 at least, and that seems quite good. There's a bunch of rumors that we'll be talking about after the release of Thrones of Decay, but I did want to talk about this one because it seems rather immediate, and it does give me a little bit of hope that maybe Creative Assembly have realized, oh good, this is the cash cow. Then maybe we should start pouring more attention into the cash cow. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. The review's coming out on the 29th. It's fairly big, so make sure to buy some snacks. And I am going to be live on twitch.tv/TheGreatBookOfGrudges today, so pop by, say hi. We're playing some Tamokon, doing a full world conquest. And yeah, you know, have a great day, everyone. Have a good weekend.